My number one tip for beginner or intermediate artists to improve in terms of Muay Thai or Jiu-Jitsu is very simple. You should be doing more shadow work than you're currently doing. What that means specifically is for Muay Thai, you should be doing a lot more shadow boxing, and for Jiu-Jitsu, you should be doing a lot more individual movement drills. That's the shadow work in that aspect. Now, you should always start with a qualified coach, right? People who are self-taught, good luck to you. I'm not hating on y'all. If that's the way you have to do it, that's the way you have to do it. But for the most part, I very much believe that you should start in a gym with a qualified crew, a qualified jiu-jitsu instructor, so you can learn the basics and you can understand the sport and the art. Great. Now, after you've been going for a few months, you might think, oh man, I want to get better at this. I want to get better at this quicker than my training partners or what have you. I really have a passion for this. The number one way for you to do that is to really start doing your shadow work early and often. Let's talk about Muay Thai first, because we're talking about shadow boxing, which you guys understand. Most of you, if you're training at a gym, I'm sure there's going to be a few minutes here, a few rounds here and there where your instructor will tell you to shadow box. Here's the secret. Get out and shadow box on your own outside of a class. You don't have to go crazy, but if you can get 2 5-minute rounds a weekend, that's only 10 minutes. If you can do that Saturday and Sunday, that's only 20 minutes. If you can do that starting at month 5 or 6 or whenever it is you start, you're going to zoom past your other training partners who are only going to get their work in class. And it's really for one key reason. If you're a beginner or you're intermediate, in my opinion, the most important concept for you to understand in Muay Thai and execute is what my old coach used to always say, back to stance. That means you make your offense, punches and kicks from stance, and then you go back to stance. You defend from stance, then you go back to stance. You move around to cut angles, to set up your opponent. You execute your offense and you go back to stance, because everything should be done back in stance. That's how you're quicker. That's how you're more able to affect offense and defense better than your opponent. So of course you remember, or I remember, starting out in Muay Thai, working on punches, working on kicks, working on knees, but then I didn't quite have control. And the control was I didn't have enough feel of proper shadow boxing. So I started doing that, and I got better so much faster by just shadow boxing. Now, if you guys want a video on kind of what the way I go about it and some of my kind of process, let me know in the comments below. But if you are a beginner and intermediate in Muay Thai, the best way to get better faster is to do more shadow boxing than you're currently doing. If you're advanced, if you got fights, you have your own style, of course, this doesn't matter to you. But if you're a beginner and intermediate, and for the sake of this, let's simplify. If you're under 4 years of training, you're still intermediate at best. You're not experienced at that point. There's still a lot more to be had. But the way you can get better is to do more shadow boxing. Now for Jiu-Jitsu, right, I was a big guy coming to Jiu-Jitsu, and I did it because I wanted the flexibility in the movement. And of course, again, you train, you go through your white belts period and all that kind of stuff, and you start learning and learning. And I thought, okay, I feel like I know a little bit more, but I'm not executing. I started adding some basic movement drills onto my cardio work, my running in the park and stuff, and it made a tremendous difference. I wasn't doing anything crazy. I was doing back steps, I was doing jacqueries, I was doing gorilla walks, I was doing hip switches. But for me, since I was a true white belt, as in I had no grappling experience when I started, those kind of foundational movements helped me do everything better. It helped me drill better, it helped me roll better, it helped me learn better, because I didn't have to miss steps doing that kind of stuff while my coach was teaching. Of course, you're gonna do a lot of hip escapes or what have you in classes, you should, but will you just add 3 or 4 basic individual solo movement drills, again, 10 minutes a day or 10 minutes a weekend or 20 minutes a weekend, nothing crazy, you're going to get better so much faster, because it's going to help you get a fluidity to your game. Now, there are a lot of, again, if you guys need me to do some videos on this, I will. There's a guy named Jason Scully, who's the videos that I learned on YouTube. He does the best individual movement exercises. You can do it gi or no gi. But point being is, if you're a beginner or you're an intermediate, the best way for you to get better faster is for you to do more shadow work than you're doing. More shadow boxing in Muay Thai, more movement individual drills in Jiu-Jitsu. Do it for a month and let me know how your game is and how your art is. I promise you'll be better. Take care, guys.